interviewed her, Dan, when I was at NBC about creating IT cosmetics. And she did have the high, I can't even do it, my voice is too low, but she had the high squeaky voice a little, but she's really leaning in now in her little podcast with Megyn. And she's gone next octave up. And the two of them have the weirdest dynamic. And so in this podcast, Megyn does her perfectly curated life thing, but she's allegedly wearing no makeup. Meanwhile, she's got like the perfect blowout, you know, and like she's completely camera ready, except she didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending that she's crying. And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor.
Perhaps the most brutally humorous thing you'll see since Harry attempted to balance royal duties is this solitary tag team takedown, regardless of whether it was horrible acting, manipulating emotions, or just another ordinary Tuesday in Meghan's podcast kingdom. As evidence that even cooperation has its rules, Meghan Markle's tear ducts seem to be working overtime, but they seem to have forgotten the actual tears. While Megyn Kelly deluged her with truth bombs like party favors, Greg Gutfeld attacked her with the ferocity of a royal roast.
I resent England for sending your second-hand royalty to us, because now we got to deal with this. Yes, I just love the fact that they thought that they were going to be royalty here in America. So there was an assumption that, and they were almost there. I mean, they were going to get gigs everywhere. There was Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV. Everybody was just going to give them millions and millions. And then they had to sit in a room with them and realize, my God, they're vacuous. He's a nice guy, apparently, but I mean, just thoroughly vacuous. She leads him around on a rope, and and it's like, that's it. That is the kind of sitcom I want to see.
Meghan Markle began to cry once more, but this time she was crying emotionally rather than visibly. She sobbed in one of those graceful, aristocratic ways when the passion echoes through the vocal cords but stays out of the tear ducts. Her expression seemed incapable of comprehending the depth, tragedy, and force of the emotional memo.
Pulled out all the stops. Here is the intro of the episode.
Megyn, Duchess of Sussex, in her first ever podcast interview. It's happening!
It's not about the grandeur of a gesture. It's about I see you. I'm nurturing you and I see you so deeply, and I love being able to see your growth. And of all things, it's making me emotional.
I have full body chills right now.
For them to be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, she has loved us so much.
Why don't you like her?
Well, let me count the ways. There's nothing I like about her. She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small. The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends, while she never stops whining. And at the same time, and I'm getting all worked up, I'm a founder. I'm over it. She's not important. She married for money. It's very clear. She bagged the elephant.
The internet erupted before Harry failed to recall that he was no longer a prince. Another episode of the Duchess of Discontent's soul-bearing, truth-laced podcast has been released. It is unadulterated, truthful, and entirely consistent with her brand. In one point of the play, she sniffled without sniffling, blinked without any moisture, and released what can only be characterized as unverified tears that you are forced to...
Meghan Markle is back with another attempt at relevance, this time her upcoming Netflix series with Love, Megyn. Roll it, Agnes. Of course it's the first time, because you never do it. You can actually tell how phony someone is when they tell you how authentic they are. Obviously, this will crash and burn like all of our other poorly planned pet projects, because despite her pseudo-British fame, people over here roundly reject this kind of...
Everyone has grown accustomed to Meghan's passionate outbursts by now. What would a podcast be without a minor weaponized vulnerability after all? This time, however, the drama wasn't merely served on a platter. A coastal health coach personally delivered it and topped it off with lavender and gold foil. Meghan undoubtedly thought we would swallow it whole, but a few individuals choked on the tearful
Family for fun? Now is tell-alls #1. It's true. Prince Harry's book has now become the fastest selling non-fiction book in the history of the UK, selling 400,000 copies on Tuesday. It's the only book to ever sell more copies on its first day than Harry Potter, which also was a work of fiction. Anyway, the book also reveals a whole bunch of weird crap. A text message fight between Meghan and Kate. How does a husband get that? And why does he care? Also, how Prince Charles used to do headstands in his underwear every day to alleviate injuries from polo.
According to Greg Gutfeld, late-night humor should make you laugh till you cry. His signature mix of comedy, sarcasm, and minor craziness was unleashed when he watched Meghan's podcast performance. He described her as being as funny as an influencer's holiday pictures, as graceful as a wrecking ball at a yoga retreat. Greg compared this to a cheese grater showing up for a Broadway audition. Invasive, dramatic, painful, and quite needless.
To People magazine. She says she loves building this safe haven and show with her daughter. And she says, being able to have my own little girl, as I've spent so much of my life championing the rights of girls and women, knowing this is something that I can create in front of my daughter and teach her what it's like to be a working mom. This is not what it's like to be a working mom. What it's like to be a working mom is to come downstairs with no makeup on, you're barely out of your pajamas, and you're like, did you eat? Let's go! You're late! Get your backpack! Come on! If you do this again, I'm not bringing it to you at school! Let's go! Good. Right? Grab anything! Doesn't matter what the sugar content is.
Greg mocking the dull speech was not the end of it, though. In episodes like Finding Your Voice While Drowning in Millions, The Science of Emotional Suggestion, and How to Cry Without Crying, he skillfully turned Meghan's podcast into a masterclass in manipulation. In contrast, Megyn Kelly entered the stage with deliberate precision rather than derision, analyzing the performance's emotional approach like a physician who finds theatrics intolerable.